Other interesting cultural news: you have a Bud Light commercial with Manning get a little bit less than 500 likes and about maybe one positive comment. Now, this comes as Bud Light is trying to dig themselves out of a hole. Bud Light was very successful at shooting themselves in the foot, or like Ron DeSantis, shooting themselves in the high-heeled boot. Now, it's an instance where, again, everyone knows Bud Light hired Dylan Mulvaney for $185,000 for like 2 or 3 pictures to be a brand ambassador, which, talk about an easy job. 2 to 3 pictures to get $185,000 at what cost to your pride in that instance. But nevertheless, that person is making millions of dollars, believe it or not. Now, that, of course, alienated a majority of consumers, and then Bud Light considered to shoot themselves in the foot again when they didn't, quote-unquote, stick with Dylan Mulvaney. And then you had people, as I said, become a political issue. People on the left started boycott it. And then people on the right started boycott it. And people in the middle, they thought, well, I don't want to have a political conversation when I'm having a beer. I'm not going to buy it either. So, let's just say the sales went down, fiscal Q2 alone, it went down by $400 million for such a specific brand compared to the same fiscal Q2 last year. Now, they've been trying to buy back their loyalty from the consumers. And we've gotten a lot of lies from the CEOs, executives. I mean, some of them are saying, oh yeah, this wasn't a campaign. And then it leaked thanks to investigative reporting with Steven Crowder and Larry Crowder. We found out, oh yeah, they actually did pay Dylan Mulvaney $185,000 for a campaign. But Light originally just claimed, oh yeah, we just sent one can. It was no big deal. The lies they tell themselves. They start to pile up. Similar to the piling up of the undrunken cans of Bud Light at all the stores as they continue to expire, and distributors, in some cases, distributors actually buy them back. Which, in terms of retail, that's almost unfathomable how unsuccessful and bad it is. Now, nevertheless, getting back to the specific post. Now, this comes from Omaha Productions. So, conceivably, I guess that they were hired to make this commercial. And it's probably smarter than to put it on their page, because if they were put on Bud Light's page, it would probably be 100% negative comments. Believe it or not, we'll do some digging right here. There are 1 or 2 positive comments in this. Now, the text just simply says, "Come for the beer, staying for the Omaha Audible." And interestingly enough, they are not talking about the software called Audible, which is bought out by Amazon.com a couple of years ago, in which you can listen to audiobooks very similar to a podcast. An Audible is a sports balls term, I learned, thanks to the internets. Now, interestingly enough, Peyton, one of the Mannings, it's a Manning, I believe. Nevertheless, this individual goes into a bar. Might have to fact check. I don't think he actually drinks the beer, but we'll see.
What are you having?
2 Bud Lights, please.
I was going to say, ADHD thought it'd be hilarious, and I'm sure in real world, again, this is a commercial, but next time, and again, I'm sure the paparazzi and all the fanboys and everyone are already taking pictures of this guy wherever he goes, but it'd be hilarious to see this Manning character at a bar, and he, of course, like in real life, what does he really order? Because, again, not all the time, but many of the times when you have a brand endorsement or a sponsorship deal, it usually means that they were just offered the copious amount of money to put their logo there or to say that they use the product, which is why, by my very nature, but my default is to be skeptical when I see any type of brand endorsements, really. So it'd be fascinating to see, what does he actually buy? If he goes to a bar, what does he actually purchase? Probably Yangling? No, who knows, really. Maybe it really is Bud Light. Maybe that's his personality. Maybe.
Actually, make it around for the bar.
Round for the...
No one would want that. Now, this bar, they actually have a Bud Light neon sign, interestingly enough. Can't help but notice, anecdotally speaking, many of the ones in my area, when I'm at customer meetings, I'm meeting people there, and I can't help but look around and go, yeah, the signage is a little different compared to a couple years ago. But nevertheless, this alleged bar has a neon sign of Bud Light.
Here we go.
No way. People are cheering? Even when I was in college back in my day, like, no one cheered for Bud Light. Like, it used to be the default beverage for people who drink copious amounts of alcohol. I don't know if they actually applaud or like the taste. It's just the default. Which, again, that was hugely profitable for literally decades, the #1 beer. Then they decided to shoot themselves in the foot multiple times. I don't recommend doing this at a bar. You actually might get kicked out. I just can't imagine. Modern day, you go to a bar and you say, hey, Bud Light for everyone. I'm sure most people just look at you like, why? I already have a glass of water. But I mean, even if someone was a beer drinker, would they go, "Oh, okay, thanks"? Like, would they be cheering? It maybe a little, because he's a celebrity, because he throws sports balls. But nevertheless, we'll go back to the commercial. Well, now he's throwing beer cans across the bar. Surely a hell of a violation, an OSHA violation, to be sure. And people are catching the beer, and then it looks like they're starting to open them up. So fact check, they're not opening up the beers. But again, I'm not a beer aficionado. Truth be told, I enjoy spirits now and again when I'm in a client meeting. But if you throw a beer across the bar, presumably it'd be pretty carbonated, it'd be pretty shooken up. If you were to open it, a lot of it would just spill on the floor, which many would say is the best place for Bud Light. But nevertheless, I mean, they're not very. I guess because he's a sports balls player, he has to throw it. But again, I mean, so not only is someone giving you a free Bud Light, which is always okay, but now they're throwing it at you. I mean, so you can't even drink it. Perhaps perhaps this is an anti-Bud Light commercial after all. So now I don't know if maybe this is a fellow sports balls player, but he looks at one guy in a bar stool, he just goes, yeah. And the guy's allegedly said, oh no, and then he's running from it. Is he worried about being insulted by Mr. Manning by throwing the beer can at his head? Why would he think, oh no? All right, well.
Emmitt Smith? Touchdown!
Oh. And false advertising. Again, at the very end, it says easy to drink and easy to enjoy. Which, I know people who tolerated Bud Light when I was growing up, but I never knew anyone who said, oh, that's a delicious Bud Light. Like, even before the controversy, it was just unfathomable to say the least. And Emmitt Smith is probably another sports balls player. I mean, it's not Tom Brady. So, like, the average person, do they really know these sports balls? I know Manning, I think at one point he also bought Papa John pizza franchises. Was that Peyton or the other one? The rumor is there's two. Probably. Unless maybe that's like the Berenstein Bears when you were a kid growing up and they changed the spelling but no one really knew. Nevertheless, there are allegedly two Mannings. Probably would be very commercial if got both of them. Could have played into the angle of Bud Light pretending they care about families and stuff like that. And again, the person that actually caught the beer at the very end, he caught it and he fell to the ground. Which, can you imagine how dirty a bar is? The ground of a bar that serves Bud Light. Heaven forbid there's Bud Light on the ground. Your clothes might be stained. You might very well melt like the wizard or the witch in the Wizard of Oz, because it just is so viscerally disgusting for your skin. I don't know. But let's go in the comments and see what the reception is. Maybe I'm alone in my assessment of this. I mean, I'm not, because I looked at the top 5 comments before I started this, so I know that. But who knows? Maybe more comments will prove me wrong. Let's dive and find out. So again, this was posted by Omaha Productions. Got 120,000 views and about 500, well, a little less than 500 likes. The very first comment comes from Sour Patch Lids, and it says, quote, "Congratulations to Peyton for coming out. Rainbow emoji." Got 39 likes, and I did. Maybe he did come out. Bud Light would be an appropriate sponsorship. I know they sponsor a lot of the coming out parades and the child-friendly drag shows. I use the not parentheses. I use the quotes because there really is no such thing as a child-friendly drag show because they're sexual by their very nature and they actually have exposed private parts. It's astonishing how many people forget the very definition of the word private. private parts means private in your private life. But nevertheless, I partially digress. I don't think that was the intention of this commercial. Probably not, but let's keep going. Red Kins Matter said has a picture which has the Manning, one of the Mannings, I forget the name, Emmett Till, I think is the other character, or the not character, person in the little commercial. Then in between them, they photoshopped Dylan Mulvaney. They got 26 likes. Let's see here. Alex Solver says, quote, "This commercial was so awesome, I'm buying Bud Light again." They got 10 likes. We have to investigate, because is this person real? Are they a manager at Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch InBev, perhaps? A stockholder? All right, we'll go to his profile. He's 270 followers. Not to brag, but I do have about 230 followers on my Twitter at NICTOPPING or The Topping Show. I would always argue quality over quantity. The best followers, bar none. Probably, perhaps. I don't think I've met them in real life yet, but nevertheless, person has 270 followers. Joined in 2015, so it's not a new profile I created last night for this one post. First comment or post that I've seen lately from him is, "Cold water to the face refreshes me at my core," which, I guess, didn't get any likes. Did get 52 views. Scrolling through his profile here. Let's see here. I believe these are pictures of Pokemon, like my dad used to call it. Granted, I call it Pokemon because I know that's how you're supposed to say it, but it sounds funnier as Pokemon, so I might start doing that now. Let's see here. And he's reposting some things for Elon. Repost stuff for the NFL. I'll be damned. He actually has some good tweets, folks. He says, quote, "Women were so beautiful when they dressed modestly. We were born in the wrong time period, man." And it's a picture of Dolly Parton next to her husband, Carl Dean, around the 1960s. And her private parts are actually private. I'll be damned, Alex Solver. Not only is he a real profile, but not the Bud Light, but he has some other pretty good points. Let's keep going through the comments and see if there are other real ones that are actually positive. We're getting back to the negative. So JS says, quote, "Not going to work. Bud Light get 24 likes." Someone by the name of New Old Agenda says, quote, "So a little skit with people who have been paid to pretend to like Bud Light seems about right," unquote, getting 33 likes. Sean Hayes says, quote, "Still not drinking it," unquote, getting 35 likes. Now, this is an interesting thing. I suppose he's talking about himself, but in terms of accepted advertising standards for alcohol companies, I went down the rabbit hole with this and started research, like, is there a law around this? Why don't they ever drink Bud Light in the Bud Light commercials? It's an unwritten, unspoken rule in advertising for the alcohol beverage industry. They're very, very concerned about being regulated highly, like the tobacco industries, which are kneecapped so much to the point where they can't even have a commercial on TV. So it's not a law that you can't drink into commercials, but it's like an unspoken rule, and that's why you don't see really anyone in alcoholic-based commercials drinking the actual product. Very similar to how the Japanese had a little handshake agreement where they would never produce cars beyond a certain horsepower. I believe that it was in the 70s, the 80s. There was a couple of years where they all, like every car had the same 270 horsepower like that. They never went above, or at least advertising. So it was kind of a social norm at the time. But I suspect this person is talking about himself. See, Jayhawk22 says, quote, "We're not going to forget they hired a spokesman to mock women," unquote, getting 45 likes. Stephman316 says, quote, "Bud Light, really? Come on, bros. You are better than that," unquote, getting 19 likes. Though, I don't think there really is better than that. But nevertheless, Max Headroom says, quote, "Hashtag sellout. Peyton is available as long as there's a check," unquote, getting 23 likes. Nikki Haley's Burner says, quote, "That look when you know you have to make money selling products you never use based on who you used to be." And it's one of the Peytons looking at Emmett, and then Emmett looking at him, kind of like a bro, like, "You were doing this for you know why we're doing this. Heaven forbid we actually get Bud Light on our suits or on our clothing." Continuing with other comments. What's the fuss says, quote, "Yikes, Peyton can't even save Bud Light." And has a GIF saying "ew," getting 12 likes. Colonel P says, quote, "Nope." And simply a picture of Dylan Mulvaney on the can And the picture of Dylan in the dress with lipstick, gloves, and the Audrey Hepburn hairstyle holding the Bud Light cans. It got 36 likes. Dodge simply said, nope, done, never, getting 10 likes. Alex says simply, man, that commercial is gay, unquote, getting 9 likes. Chuck from Houston says, quote, haven't heard the apology, unquote, getting 5 likes. Ed and Ratchfish says, quote, that is just... Really, wait a minute. That is just a really good ad, and I hate Bud Beer, unquote, getting 9 likes. Again, I don't think the ad is that persuasive or really compelling. Again, it's hard to measure the effectiveness of advertising directly in terms of the sales in this specific instance. Because, again, they do a lot of advertisements, and the sale for alcohol is an indirect sales model. You don't go to budlight.com and buy it. They sell it to the distributor. Distributor sells it to a store. Store sells it to you. So, again, it's a little bit more difficult to see why, unless all hell breaks loose after one specific event, like the Mulvaney incident. Let's see here. Kevin says, quote, still no Bud Light and now no hashtag Peyton Manning for me either, unquote, getting 2 likes. And apparently it is the Peyton Manning. I'm pretty sure he was a Papa John's guy too. In terms of he bought a bunch of franchise locations and did ads for them. Which, in that case, actually made sense because, again, he's buying franchises of Papa John's Pizza. So I could understand him doing a commercial in that case. It's not just, getting paid cash, but it's he's investing in the company. And by doing so, it's also a mutual beneficial relationship. This commercial would actually make more sense if he was like, what is it, Peyton, Eli, whatever this, Eli or Peyton, Eli, whatever Manning this is, if he actually got stock in exchange for this. I mean, I believe the SEC rules, but the rules of advertising, you have to disclose that. So perhaps that would make it less effective, but yeah. I'm scrolling down more and more and more. And again, one person said, I'll take one. So I think that's more of a neutral comment. Oh, no. Buck Rubino, no DMs, I block, ally, emoji of a trans flag, emoji of a pride flag, says, this is great. Although that statement did not get a single like. It got 198 views, so it is one of the most viewed comments. But Mr. Buckerbino, no DMs, I'll block you. Let's look at this profile of this person really quick. This person is I'm just reading their profile because I'm curious. We only have like 2 or 3 people who are positively saying good things about Bud Light. Let's look into these folks. Person has a profile picture of a dog, so they're cheating. I don't suspect this is a dog actually typing and tweeting things out, though I'd be impressed if it was. So again, Mr. Buckerbino, this is their description. What the hell? A Yinzer animal advocate, football, baseball, basketball fan, equity for all, I block MAGA, crypto, and porn, true crime enthusiast, hashtag, the hell's a crew, hashtag 90 crouton, hashtag team commander, hashtag BLM. But why don't I have that emoji? And if you look at this person's profile, well, they retweeted Jill Biden decorating the White House, although that I really debate how much of them actually. I think it's more. They don't really actually hang stuff up too much. I think they more design it, but nevertheless, that's something they probably retweeted. They got 236 likes as well. Well, let's see here. A lot of anti-Trump stuff. A lot of political stuff. Squirrels playing with the ball, looking pretty happy. And they actually retweeted the Manning Peyton Sports Balls guy Bud Light tweet as well. Interesting. So this is, that's the new face of Bud Light. Is that going to be profitable for them? It'll be interesting to see. Again, that one specific brand is down by about 30% in sales, about 26% sales by volume. So, again, Anheuser-Busch InBev has 40 plus beers, and they're a multi-billion-dollar company. They're not going to go out of business because this one brand is dying, but this one brand specifically, Bud Light, that's the one that's losing. Again, they lost about $400 million in sales, just gone compared to the same fiscal Q2 last year. The volume might get so low for that brand, and they might just be continually so mocked. They might have to. Well, they for sure will have to scale back the brand. They actually got to the point where actually bottling plants closed because of the lack of orders from them. So it's not unconceivable to see if the brand specifically becomes unprofitable, they have to subsidize it with the other brands. But I don't think it'll go away completely because, again, they're still getting 70% of the sales. So let me know in the comments. Do you think the Bud Light brand will ever disappear completely? Or do you think they'll be able to turn this around? Two interesting questions. I'd be fascinated to hear, as always, what you have to say. Again, thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Don't forget to take time to subscribe. Trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of December. So if you click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment is a great way to let me know what things I should try to work on and improve on, in addition to increasing my enunciation and perhaps slowing down a little bit. All the feedback is greatly appreciated. Also, and lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.